Start off with this. A healthy person, you may guess, thrives in an environment where an unhealthy person can't. In other words, they produce more. They feel better. They're more energetic. There's just not too many things that's not positive. How do you get there is the point. And we're seeing all of the advertising about pills and remedies always to deal with some issue. And you got to admit that we are kind of a chubby nation. And people that are chubby, they don't want to be that way because it costs them so much more in insurance and in lifestyle, self-esteem. All of those things seem to be there. Do you have a caring relationship for your body? There's a psychiatrist, Dr. Van der Kolk, I believe, who says the psychiatrists get in the way with their pills. And I want to take you to one of the neatest stories I've ever come by. And it's very easy. You know, as a kid growing up, we read the Shema. And that was so important to me, and it got me all the way through high school and into college where I broke away from it, went some other direction. But when I came back, I found an interesting thing. The churches would not have anything to do with this little book called the Torah, nor would the educational system, and certainly our government wouldn't talk about it. And yet, when I started to define it, the churches all said, well, it's just a bunch of laws. Well, nobody likes laws. But as I delved into it, because I saw a picture of a rabbi who was just on his way to Auschwitz, and he was glowing with no light in the room, and he was looking at this book. And that drove me to say, what is it that he saw that would make him so happy? And it was the Torah. And he saw the truths that function within the Torah about eating instructions, financial instructions, government, how to treat your neighbor, how to treat your friend. And everything that was taught was we are to go to our fellow man and help them. We are to look for their needs and meet their needs as they are to us. And yet in our educational system, the exact opposite is true. The Stoics, the Essenes, the people that worked in this, the Aristotelians, and of course Nietzsche was one of the biggest ones, and Spinoza. All of them talked about it's your life. Stay out of everybody else's. And Machiavelli, which was one of my favorites, he said, do it to them before they do it. It's going to be done before they do it to you. And that's kind of the program that we live under today. And yet, here's this book over here that was hidden in Nehemiah's time, hidden from the people. And when they got around to finding it, the folks loved it because it gave them a lifestyle, a correct eating that gave them energy, cleaned up their body, made them healthy. And then by definition, as I dug into this, it's the character of God. Oh my. So if I am going to follow this book, foundational, and what is so interesting is there a rabbi that looked at it and said, you know something? God looked into the Torah and created the world from the instructions in the Torah. It's kind of a neat approach, because I have some builder friends and some architectural friends that they go to the architect with their plans, he draws it out, then they build it. And I think that's a symbol of how we are to look into the Torah on how to live, because it's a book that says, I am freedom. And as I looked at that and I began to live by those instructions, I became freer physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. And here I am in my mid-80s, climbing around these goofy mountains, trying to reach out to people to show them that there is a way that you can be healthy and robust, maybe into your hundreds. That's an interesting thought. So the Torah gives a moral, a spiritual, and a covenantal framework for the human being that gives him freedom, the creation that we live by. Now, I went through school where evolution was totally taught. And I'm a creationist, so I'm not going to argue with at the moment about which one is right. But what I do want to tell you is this is the cell. Whether it evolved or whether it was created, it functions in a given way. And all it wants you to do is to treat it correctly. Feed it, protect it, clean it, make the provisions so that it can function and give you that abundance life. And understanding that your emotions all are in the digestive tract, 70% of them, I should say, your immune system. So the body is designed to clean itself. So if we did this and we looked at what's going on today in the world of foods, we finally have been told that after 50 years, this ultra-processed food, all chemicals. You can't heal something with chemicals. It takes nutrients. And as we develop this, it's crazy. So the body, when it returns to order, this chaos versus order, when it returns to order, it has a clear meaning. It moves toward health, moves toward justice. That is so important in our world where we see that there is a lack of justice. And it gives us direction. And these words that I found suddenly, that I read before and passed over them, I now find them very important. So it's within that world that we want to learn how to walk openly and correctly. And the secret suddenly becomes apparent to me about how to live. And it's all in the open. And yet it has been taken out of our vision by the people that should be teachers. Now then, if we suddenly learn this, we could treat our children to these instructions. And what would that mean to them? They would look at life and say, that's good for me, that's not good for me. I do not want to ruin this body. And that's where we as a company want to teach people how to do this. And by the way, you just stack up your money, cut it in half, take the other half, and buy good foods, and then we build a product that you absolutely will love because it creates oxygen, nutrients, ATP, cleans the cells, cleans the body, cleans the tissue, and it adds an enormous amount of energy to your body in a correct form. Vasodilation is there, clean brain. There isn't anything that I've seen that comes close to our direction, the Torah. It's a walk through troubled waters. And let me tell you, we live in some troubled times. This world is on fire. And I think it's very important for you and I to recognize that we can't be dismissing this thing. We can't be blaming somebody else. We can't be making alibis. So we need to find people that will lead and distribute that wealth of information to other people. And let's create a movement. It's the only way that you can get involved is simply changing your diet, take a look at what we're doing, and forever forget this procrastination thing. It's the death of the human body. Look at it this way. From this day forward, you could begin a road that was full of enjoyment, prosperity, happiness, and purpose.